Alrighty guys, welcome back. This is your host, ID Jester. Another Open the Box here. New game, Most Dangerous Time. Japan Chaos 1570 to 1584. Designer is Tensuka Nakamura. Nakamura. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. Took me a little while, but I think we got it. And of course, produced by MMP. It's in a regular old box here. Medium complexity, medium solitaire, suitability. For more than 100 years, a civil war, one man emerged as the leader of Japan. Oda Nobunaga. Oda Nobunaga, once leader of an obscure clan, had risen to become the most powerful man in all of Japan. The country tried to continue fighting with no singular direction to follow. Needed someone to lead. Would Uba be that man? In the final paroxysm of the old ways, Uda would have to prove his worth on the battlefield. The most dangerous time starts at the moment of destiny, when he was insulted by an old rival clan, the Osakura. Oda decided to march and become ruler by force. Oda's enemies all seized on his opportunity to make one last attempt to stop him. In a few short years, Japan would be consumed in chaos, the countryside aflame. Is Uda too powerful to be denied, or will the old ways win out once more, leaving Japan ruled by dozens of factious fiefdoms? You can find out in the most dangerous time. One player controls all of Uda's forces, and the other commanders the forces bent to stopping him in his tracks. Oda will be assailed on all fronts, but he is powerful, and his good internal lines give him the military advantage. Can you unify Japan as Oda sought to, or will you be stopped by your opponent's military might? Or perhaps, as if it happened in history, by the infamous treachery of one of his most trusted subordinates, just as you are on the brink of victory. Wow. Okay, so we already learned a little bit about Japan's history by reading that box, so that's super cool. Alright, let's see what's in the box. Alright, let's see what we have. Keep that up in the corner there. There. Alright, so it comes with some cards. We'll look at these in a minute. It comes with some dice. 2, 4, 6, 8. 6-sided dice. Little sheet. Comes with rules to play. This is going to come in at about 28 pages. Glossy rule book. Lots of text. A few pictures, images. So we have things as introduction, game components, the game terms, sequence of play, lines of communication, event cards, exile, negotiation and betrayal, movements, combat, quite a big section on combat, of course. Regroup and reinforcements, disbanding, sea areas and sea lanes, scenarios, special rules and special situations, multiplayer rules, the 4-player game, and some overview on that, and then of course Oda. You have your other factions here. This is the anti-Oda minor alliance, the Takada alliance, the Asakaura, the Usugi alliance, the Mori alliance, the Iki Aki Alliance, and some neutral factions there. Alright, so that's the rule book. We have half a sheet of counters, thinner counter sheets, not very, and the smaller half-inch counters. They look exactly the same except for the color and the little symbol in the corner maybe shows you which. So there's a color and then there's a symbol which probably is their clan alliance maybe. Alright. And then, oh, we got another 2 sheets in here. So this is going to have control markers. Looks like some event markers. Castle destroyed, besieged, unsupplied markers. 2-sided. Some ADA and some other factions. All the different factions again. More of them. And so there's 2.5 sheets there. And then let's look at the map. See how big it is. So it's your standard full-size map. Kind of glossy, thin paper. So here's where probably the setup of everything. And interesting enough, looks like the Kaio player is going to sit on this side. The other player is going to sit on the other side because you can see all of their forces are facing that player over there. So they're in charge of the red and the brown and the green and the tan and the yellow there. So you have a turn track here. It goes from down here in the corner. So it goes from about 1570 all the way up to 1584, 30 turns here. And then the movement track down here. We have some anti-Oda miners. The Azaki, the Asakaru, and the Aoki Aikai. And some minor faction boxes there, a couple boxes here. Obviously we don't know what that means, but kind of a interesting map. The terrain, there's not much in terms of terrain, it looks like. Yeah, it's a decent looking map. Not as good as I think Warriors of Japan. Doesn't look as cool as that, but it's functional. Everything stands out as opposed to, you know, having the terrain be the feature. Obviously, you want the boxes to be the feature, so it definitely would help. All right, and that's that. Now let's open some cards and see what's inside these cards here. They're glossy. They do have kind of a rough surface to them, so they should be easy to hold on to. So let's see here. This is the Aoki Ikiki Riot. Play during any Aoki Ikiki impulse. Roll a die and place the number of Ikiki Aikaki soldiers anywhere in Omi. They may not move this impulse, and no event card is received. There's all kinds of... Oh, they have the Japanese... Alright, so then we got a bunch of reference cards on different people. Hikachi Mitsuhashi Hadi gives you the information. Alright, I don't know if these like all go into a draw pile. If these are part of who you might draw, different warriors or something. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. What's this here? Set up card for the neutrals. Set up card for the anti-Oda. Set up card for the Oda. And reinforcement card. Combat sequence, negotiation and betrayal card, movements. So these are like reference cards on how to do siege combat. You follow these steps. Sequence of play, follow these steps. Field combat notes. Initiative table. Cool. A couple copies of each card, it looks like. Alright. What else do we have? Let's open this pack up. Let's open this pack. No! Hex to Hex, what's going on? Couldn't wait. This is my second unboxing already. Second one, we did the Warriors of Japan just a little bit ago, and I already got that one punched and everything. So, play in negotiation or combat phase. Looks like it's card 1 of 64. Betrayal, 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 betrayal. Oh, these are different characters. Iwa Nagahadi. Niwa Nagahadi. So betrayals. A bunch of betrayals. Then we have events, betrayals, more events. Yeah, the other one I already got punched, yeah. But they had big counters to it, so that was cool. So yeah, this one looks a little bit more complex than the last one. It's got characters and information about the characters. I don't know if you recruit these characters. And then a bunch of other cards for truces. Samurai becomes Damo. And then some reference cards on how to interpret the rules and victory conditions and how to set things up and siege combat, sequence of play, field combat, movement. So that's cool. That's cool. All right, so that's what you get inside the box of A Most Dangerous Time. A Most Dangerous Time. Some cards, dice, a note. The rule book, again, looks a little bit much more to it than the other rule book, which was only 16 pages long, but half of it was examples of play. This one is a little more in depth on it. Definitely more in depth. I'll have to see if anyone's done a playthrough of this online and check it out and watch it. The active alliance rolls one die to determine the number of movement points for his units of his impulse. In the active alliance currently controls Kyo, add 2 movement points to his roll, record the number of movements on the movement point track. As points are spent or gained from play from a force march card, maintain a running total of the number of movement points remaining. Cool. That doesn't seem too hard. Few examples of play. Combat, of course. I have to check it out. Looks pretty good. I'll just have to get these tiny little counters. Why is there tiny little counters? Why are we making games with tiny little counters? Why are we making games with half-inch counters anymore? Why? Nah. But anyways, yep. So lots of units and then a bunch of admin counters, 2-sided, of course, for all kinds of different things. There you go. So that is it. The map? Where's the map? Here's the map. Yeah, it's point to point. if you're just joining us, it is looks like a point-to-point game there. Oops, turn it around here. So one player is controlling Kyo, and everyone else is trying to, because he's very powerful, and he's going to try and take over everything. So it is kind of cool because one player is going to sit on this side, and the other player is going to sit on the other side of the map. You notice that all of the boxes facing that way, the other player, so he can actually read the names and everything without, you know, I mean, that's a good idea. Why haven't they thought of that years ago, right? But, yeah. Kind of a plain map, but it is point-to-point movement, which is fine with me. A lot to it. Definitely a lot to it. Might have to play a practice game just to see what the heck we're doing here before we actually play it. But before we do any of that, we got to cut these stupid little counters out. Kind of thin, half-inch counters. It'll take freaking 2.5 hours to cut all these out. Ugh, not looking forward to that. That is the most dangerous time. Japan and Chaos, 1570, 1584. Teitsuka Kayamura is the designer. Produced by MMP. Kind of a plain box, but kind of neat. It's got that like old scroll kind of look to it. And there it is on the back. Alright guys, well thanks for coming by. We've got a couple we're trying to unbox tonight. We've got Warriors of God maybe coming up next, so look for that one in a little bit. We'll see you guys then. Take care.